Thankfully, President Trump is calling in the Marines, giving support to law enforcement that needs it. And so it's amazing to see the Democrats once again on the side of chaos, violence, lawlessness, anti-police, and the president and Republicans on the side of law and order.
You know, Guy, you served in the military, and thank you for your service. You were a JAG officer, U.S. Navy Judge Advocate General Corps. You volunteered for duty in Iraq. Apparently, according to the messaging by the Democrats, the mere sight of somebody in a National Guard uniform creates some sort of a rage virus in people, and that's why they're throwing Molotov cocktails and blowing up police cars and throwing bricks at people. That the mere sight of these troops is the most idiotic thing I've heard from people like Karen Bass, Newsom, and others.
Well, absolutely. And they're trying to say that President Trump sending in the Marines, sending in the National Guard is what's causing the violence. The Marines and the National Guard are going in because of the violence.
Right.
The reaction here is the president sending in more reinforcement to the violence that's already occurring. And then the richest thing is the Democrats falling back on posse comitatus, which is ironically a law that dates back to Reconstruction, where the Democrats were passing the law saying you couldn't use national troops for state issues and local issues. They did that to thwart Northerners, and here you have in Reconstruction. Now you have Democrats citing that old law saying that you can't send federal troops in. But there's tons of legal justification for doing this. It's just ironic that the Democrats are once again reaching back to this arcane law once again to prevent law and order in the cities that they control.
I mean, President Eisenhower sent in the National Guard to Little Rock, Arkansas. Everybody remembers that, when there was violence and chaos in Little Rock, and to escort those children into the schoolhouse in compliance with the Supreme Court's decision. President Kennedy called them up during race riots. President Johnson did. And probably the most recent example was...
Bush did it in L.A.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say,
George H.W. Bush did in L.A. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's legal justification here, and it's funny how we actually do that's under what's called the Insurrection Act, and the Democrats will call everything like you don't wear a mask during COVID, and that's an insurrection. Here we actually have an insurrection where you have local officials and frankly foreigners waving their own flags, attacking ICE officials, attacking law enforcement, and again all the violence that's ensuing, the looting, and for whatever reason, like that's a peaceful protest. Yet whatever the right does, that is the insurrection. So legally we are justified, and I think that the law-abiding citizens of LA appreciate the Marines and the National Guard coming in to restore law and order, peace and stability.
Guy Reschenthaler is with me. Guy was raised in southwestern PA. He graduated from Penn State. He served our country as a U.S. Navy Judge Advocate General Corps. And among his accomplishments, by the way, which I always like to mention, he prosecuted nearly 100 terrorists in Baghdad, including some of Iraq's most dangerous terrorists, and successfully defended a Navy SEAL falsely accused by the Obama administration of mishandling the Butcher of Fallujah. So you know the law, you understand all this, you know exactly what you're talking about here.